Okay, good afternoon and welcome to a Coach's Corner. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what your position is here at university?
Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Cherry, and I'm the AP Environmental Science teacher and Marine Biology teacher at UHS. So, welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching.
And I think my first question that I have to ask is, and I know that you are not someone who would just come right up and tell everybody this, but tell us about the huge, great award that you have recently gotten this year.
So, this school year, I was awarded the 2020-2021 Teacher of the Year for UHS, and it has been amazing. I don't really like to talk about it that much, just because I feel like what I do is what I'm supposed to do. But all of the love and support from the community and within the school has been amazing. And I really do miss UHS during all of this. So,
And it's my understanding that when you started out, like maybe going to college or whatever, it wasn't your original intention to be a teacher. Is that correct?
that is correct. I actually went to Stetson, so go Hatters. I graduated from there in 2015. And if you would have asked me when I was a student at Stetson if I would be a teacher, the answer would have been a hard no. I had no intentions in being in the classroom. My major, I double majored there in environmental science and geography with marine biology, aquatic and marine biology. So I had a dual major, and my aspirations after graduating from Stetson were to pursue something in the field, some type of conservation work, working as a sea turtle biologist, something far from being in the classroom. But I wouldn't change the path that the doors opened for me. My senior year at Stetson, I was applying for job after job in marine biology and environmental science, and it's a really competitive field. And I was getting declined. So it wasn't that I didn't have the skills. I was just very young out of school. And then I went to the Volusia County Schools job fair for teachers my senior year at Stetson in April, and I got hired from UHS. So that door opened, and I said, I'm only going to do this for a year, 1 year. I'm going to try it out and see what happens. And 1 year passed, and I fell in love with teaching. Being a teacher has allowed me to become a better version of myself. My students have opened my eyes to everything that goes on in the world. It's changed my lens and perspective of things. And I've learned and am learning so much from my students on a day-to-day basis. So yes, teaching is a career that definitely found me, and I am super thankful for that. I'm on year 5 now, so I kind of surpassed that 1 year of, oh, I'm only going to try it out. And I've become fully certified in teaching, and I definitely wouldn't change it. This is something that right now in this season of my life, I'm meant to do. So,
Well, that's awesome. I know I was just telling you right before we started recording that I know that our paths, my path and your path, they don't pass much, at the school, but I hear your name mentioned a lot from the students, and they speak highly of you, so you are definitely doing an awesome job just because, typically the only time I hear a teacher's name mentioned is when kids are complaining about them. And I have never heard a kid complain about Miss Cherry. So, I mean, the fact that I hear your name mentioned, and it's not in a negative way, that alone speaks volumes about you and the job that you're doing. So I'm glad that, whoever it was offered you that job, and I'm glad that you are apparently a lifer now, and I'm glad that you are a Titan because you are one of the teachers that makes university the in my opinion the great place that it is. So yeah, I'm glad that those science people were denying you those jobs. So
Well, thank you. That means a lot. Um, for me, the biggest thing is just having good rapport with your students and showing them that you genuinely care about them, not just as a student in the classroom, because I mean, you can learn, right? Students are going to learn regardless if they have a teacher or not. But I try to make sure they know that I'm somebody who can they can come to talk to, and I genuinely do care about their well-being as a whole, like what's going on in their life, their day-to-day struggles, and I just try to model myself after the teachers that I had because I am a product of Volusia County Schools. So I've had a plethora of wonderful teachers that have impacted me. So, as stated, teaching wasn't something I wanted to do, but I did have a good structure in knowing what a good teacher was. So, that's kind of what I've modeled it after.
Okay. All right. And I think just in listening to you talk, you've kind of already answered the question of how long you've been in the county as a teacher since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Yep.
Um, and you just said you were a product of Volusia County Schools. Which high school did you graduate from?
So, I graduated from Deltona High School, home of the Wolves. Go Wolves.
No.
I will always bleed blue and silver, but I am a true Titan. And I went to Enterprise Elementary. So I went to Enterprise Elementary and then Deltona Middle School. So I've
Okay.
spent a lot of time in Volusia County schools.
All right. All right. And as you were growing up, were you involved in any type of sports or anything?
Yeah, actually. So I really loved being active. Science and being outdoors is my biggest thing, but I was involved in a couple of different things. So I loved track and field. So I ran competitively in track and field in elementary, middle, and I kind of gave it up in high school. So middle school was the last time. I was actually a state finalist. So I was able to go to the state competition in Claremont, Hershey's track and field. I don't know if you're familiar with that,
I am.
and I was a long distance runner. So I was really involved with the long distance. And then I did soccer growing up in elementary and middle school. High school, I kind of stopped with athletics. I spent more attention, paid more attention to academics. I was also heavily involved in our band. So I did marching band throughout my duration of high school. So that was kind of what I was involved with.
Okay. All right. And I'm just were you a drum major or anything like that in
No,
band?
no, I wasn't, but I played clarinet and I was up there in the seats. I don't remember what position I was, but also
Right.
in high school, I did cross country. I ran cross country in high school, but it was difficult because it was during the same time period as marching band. So
Right.
I had to pick and choose what I wanted to do with that. But I really do love running. I still run. I'm not the best anymore, but
Right.
um, it is something that I still enjoy doing.
Right. Okay. Um, and let's see. Um, and I know that you're still pretty young, so do you have a family yet?
No, I'm recently engaged,
Oh,
so
congratulations.
thank you. And we just bought our first house actually a couple weeks ago. So we're
Oh,
trying to get settled in there and move stuff, but it's been difficult with the pandemic. So
right. At least during this time, you have plenty of time to paint and decorate, right?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Um, and as far as the extracurriculars, whether you're talking band or cross country or whatever club or whatever or a sport, how important do you feel those type of things are for kids to get involved with as far as not just discovering themselves, but helping them deal with the day-to-day high school life?
Yeah, so I was heavily involved in throughout my whole academic career, elementary, middle, high school, and college. So that's been something that has been a part of my life. Um, for some students, it can be a little bit scary, right? Joining a club or becoming involved in something. I think it is extremely vital, though, especially if you are a person that is more introvert. I'm actually an introvert. I don't enjoy talking in front of large crowds, etc. But teaching has definitely opened more doors for that, for me to overcome that. But being involved in an organization, I think students should at least be involved in at least one thing. Choose one thing that maybe you're interested in, and then choose something that you never thought that you would enjoy. Maybe it is a athletic group, maybe it is an academic group, maybe it's just an extracurricular thing. That way you can start to expand your horizon, because we're all in our comfort zones and we get in our bubble. And I think it's really important, especially during this time period in high school, to explore and expand horizons and kind of see what you like, what you don't like, and it allows you to meet new people and have more doors open. So in high school, I was involved in a lot. So I was a part of the culinary club, I was a part of the marching band, I was in Rho Kappa, I was in National Honor Society, I was a part of our science club, our environmental club. I was also lieutenant governor for Key Club. So I had 7 high schools that I was in charge of while I was in high school for Key Club. So I was involved in a lot.
Yeah.
And it really, during high school, they always say that that's the best time of your life, right? Those are the best years. And
Right.
some students might agree and some students might disagree. Maybe they can't wait to get out of high school because of whatever circumstances they're dealing with now. But truly, honestly, your high school career and your foundation and what you get involved with and what passions you unlock really open doors for your future. So I recommend always to my students at the beginning of the year when we have our little club fair and they get to go see what's going on campus, get involved with at least one thing, and then go from there. Academics, obviously, is the focus, but having something outside of your normal day-to-day reading books, doing assignments is super, super important, not just to meet people, but to help you to become the better version of yourself. So,
Right, right. And looking back now on your high school self, is there something that you didn't get involved with that you wish maybe you would have?
actually, yes. So I was involved in a lot, but there was one team that I wish that I had like continued forward with. So doing soccer. Soccer was always something that I loved as a kid and playing. So I think that if I would have had the courage, I didn't have the courage to try out for the soccer team because it had been years since I played, but I think that would have opened some more doors for me. But playing soccer, definitely, I would have opened that door a little bit wider because I still played just for fun, but
Right,
not like a team or anything.
right, right. Okay. And what is one thing that you hope that I know I've been in your classroom a few times before, and it seems like your classes are very large. And what is one thing that you hope that your students or the kids that are in your club, because I know you sponsor a club as well at the high school,
Mhm.
what is one thing that you hope that those students get from a Miss Cherry uh, sponsored or a Miss Cherry class? What is one thing you hope those students get from being there?
Yeah, so I sponsor the Envirothon team, which is the environmental science competition team. And then I also sponsor Earth and Surf Club, which is our environmental club on campus. But a student in my class, when they leave or during the duration of um, like meeting me and etc., I really hope that they get to see that what is happening in the four walls of the classroom isn't just happening there. It's happening in real time beyond the four walls of the classroom. So I'm lucky in the aspect that I'm teaching something that is real time. It's happening on a day-to-day basis and it is applicable to their lives. Not that other subjects aren't, but learning about environmental science, it's ever changing. So there's
Right.
always things that are happening with that. And I always strive for my students to know that they can make a difference. So when they leave every single day, you can ask any of my students that I say make a difference. That's the last statement that comes out of my mouth before they leave the classroom. Because I feel like a lot of students feel that they cannot do something because of their age or it's just them. So we learn about a lot of controversial things in my classroom. We learn about the doom and gloom of what's happening in the environment, but I really like to instill in them that they can make a difference. And a lot of movements regardless of what they're for, a lot of movements have started with just one person, one individual. So I really hope that students, after meeting me, feel encouraged and they feel that they can go out there and make a difference and that their voice does matter and their ideas and creativity, that it doesn't go unnoticed. So.
Right. And why don't you go ahead and maybe take a minute and tell us a little bit about your different clubs that you sponsor.
Okay, so the Envirothon team, we actually won third place this year in the county. So that's exciting for us. But we are a competition team, so it's a group of students that get together. This year we had 5 teams of 5 students, and they compete with other schools around Volusia County. So it is a regional competition that happens, and they work together as teams to solve different problems based on different subjects in environmental science. So there's a forestry aspect, they do an aquatic aspect, soil, there's like current events. So there's a lot of different topics that they get to answer questions about. And it's a really fun experience. I try to make it fun for the students. And a lot of times it's my AP students that are involved in that, just because it goes hand in hand with the curriculum that they're learning. And then our Earth and Surf Club, that's my pride and joy. I love them so much. These students are trying and striving to be the voice for the environment on our campus and within the community. And our motto is making waves of change. So we really want to instill in people that they can make a change and they can make a difference. And we hold every other week. Usually we have beach cleanups, or once a month. Right now, it's kind of sad because we can't do that. Right. But we also do the recycling program on campus. So we have a paper recycling program that my students are in charge with. We also have a marker recycling program through Crayola. So we've signed up and partnered with Crayola, and they collect all kinds of different markers that would have once gone into a landfill. And Crayola takes those and repurposes them and resells them. That way they don't have to take up space in the landfill. We do on-campus composting. So composting is something I'm really passionate about. So I've taught my students how to do that. And we had a lot of project ideas for the end of the school year that unfortunately weren't able to follow through with, but we'll just piggyback those onto next school year for Earth and Surf. So.
Right. Well, cool. I know that myself, as someone who is an outdoors person, I know I very much support everything you just mentioned. Just I hate being outdoors and just seeing the negative effect that some things and some even individual people can have on anything to do. Whether it's, honestly, I'm not a beach kind of person, but when I'm over there, just whether you're talking about the rings of soda can, or whether you're talking about the trash in the woods, or no matter what it is, or whether you're talking about our courtyard after lunch, it's just horrible. So I'm very thankful that you and your students are doing what you're doing, and like you said, it only takes one person to make a difference and to change something. So yeah, thank you.
No problem.
And what do you think the best part about working at university is?
Ooh, that's a hard question. I love a lot about UHS. It probably, for me, I think it would be the students, honestly. UHS, we have some really great students who are very bright, and some students that just don't know their potential yet. So that's kind of my favorite thing, is helping students and guiding them and trying to help them either reignite a passion or figure out what they're passionate about. But seriously, like, not being able to be there for my students right now physically has been really tough. I miss those daily conversations with the students about what's going on in their life, especially now with the seniors, listening to all of their acceptance coming in from different universities and colleges. and just being able to be there for them. But honestly, UHS has some of the best students in the county.
Totally agree.
In the county. I know we're biased because we work at
No,
UHS,
we're just telling the truth.
but honestly, like my favorite thing about being a teacher is the diversity in my classroom, and I thrive with that. I love the diversity. I love being able to learn from different students. I love being able to learn about different cultures. You've seen on our campus, we have a very wide range of students represented, and that's honestly my favorite thing. Just being able to see how they see the world and be able to learn from the experiences that they bring to the classroom too. Because a lot of times teachers think that they're the only ones that are impacting, right? You're only impacting your students. But I am impacted daily by my students, even from afar right now. They've stayed in contact with me on Microsoft Teams and Remind and email. So honest, like a few minutes ago, I just got an email from a senior, Karina, you might know her. She does weightlifting and other sports. And I don't have her as a student anymore. So she was from a previous year, but she just sent me a huge long update on her life. During her senior year. So it's things like that. The best thing is the students. It really is.
I cannot argue that. Our students are great. They definitely are. And to those people that happen to watch us, whether it's students or parents or people in the community, what would you have to say to them?
During all of this?
Yeah.
Or in general?
Yeah, during this unique time.
Yeah, a couple things. So I think it's really important, right? We live in a hustle bustle world, on the go always, and always thinking about the next thing, right? What are you going to cook for dinner? What's next on the agenda? That kind of thing. I think during this time and here on outward, hopefully, people spend more time just being still and knowing what is going on in the now. I think we, as a society, as a whole, we just go too fast through things. I think just taking time to appreciate what you have, whether that be people or physical things, and really just take the time to be present in conversations and not just worried about what's happening next on the agenda. And then also, my biggest thing, you can ask all of my students and people that know me, throw kindness around like confetti. I say that all the time. I think being kind is super important. You never know what a person is going through. You don't know what's happening in their life, and if you can be that simple smile or that kind gesture, even if it is just simple as saying hello, how are you doing, or writing them a simple note, I think kindness goes further than anything. So especially now, I'm seeing so much of it, and it makes me so happy. I've been getting emotional the past couple weeks because people have been just so kind to one another, where you wouldn't have seen that if we weren't in these uncertain times as prevalent. So I hope that people will be still, be present, and just be kind to one another and recognize that there are so many people going through things that you just don't know about. And as a teacher, we see that daily in our classroom. There's so many things that students especially are going through that they shouldn't be going through, and they don't have control over that. So just being kind. It's free, right? Kindness is free.
Right.
You don't have to pay for it. You just have to have your heart open to it. So.
Right. Well, that's great. And here's the hard question, okay?
Yeah.
If you could have dinner with any four people, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Ooh, okay. Let's see. So somebody that was super impactful in my life and helped shape me who I am today would be my grandmother. She has since passed away, so having dinner with her would be amazing, just to see and update her on everything that's going on. The second person I would probably choose, I'm going to pick people that I normally don't have dinner with. So I eat with my family all the time. Family is super important to me, so we eat dinner every night together. But let's see, Sally Ride. So Sally Ride was the first female American astronaut into space. And I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a child, and space has always been something that interests me and still does. I am a huge NASA nerd, and I love everything about space and the oceans and pretty much everything about our planet. But Sally Ride, I met her a couple of times, and she has passed away as well. But just being able to talk with her and kind of see her perspective on different things, I think would be really cool. Because I met her when I was younger. So now that I'm an adult, I think it would be interesting to talk with her. I went to space camp.
The barriers she must have had to overcome must have been crazy.
Yeah, her story is amazing. I was a part of her Sally Ride. It was like a space program for girls. It was like a STEM
Right.
program. So being able to hear her as a young female aspiring to do something in science, she really impacted me in my path. The third person would probably be Rachel Carson. So my students hear about her all the time. Rachel Carson is the individual. She was a scientist who started the movement of environmental science. She wrote the book Silent Spring, and she was just an amazing person. I obviously didn't know her personally, but throughout the years and throughout my academic career, learning about her and learning how she didn't let people walk all over her as a scientist and made sure that her voice was heard, and just having the power and the courage to start this huge environmental movement for environmental science is just inspiring. And then the fourth person, this one I'm stuck on. I've got to think really quick.
This is the hardest one when you get down to number 4.
I know it is tough.
Since you've watched all the videos, you've had all kinds of names thrown out there. So,
well, I picked 2 scientists already and a family member. Let's see. Probably, I think it'd be really cool to meet Walt Disney. So, and be able to meet them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, like, what are some other things I'm passionate about? I really love Disney. And I actually, before quarantine happened, the weekend before, so we did a behind the scenes tour of Disney, and we were able to learn about him. And I've loved Disney since a kid, and I did not know some of the things that he started, and just his heart and love for people. So I think it'd be really cool to meet Walt Disney and have dinner with him.
Huh. That's someone that never would have crossed my mind, but yes, just wow. And again, someone that like was a normal person that just built this huge world power, so to speak. Yeah. Wow. That's a great 4 for sure. Well, do you have anything that we haven't covered or anything that you would like to say to anyone?
Well, just a little plug for the environment. So May 1st started sea turtle nesting season, and it runs to October 31st here in Volusia County. So I'm a board member with our local Marine Turtle Conservancy group in New Smyrna, and I'm out on the beach usually about 2 days a week helping with that. So just if you are going to the beach now that it's open, just be aware of what's going on with sea turtle nesting. So if you see a sea turtle, leave it alone. Don't disturb it. If there's a nest nearby, don't mess with it. Knock down sandcastles, fill in holes, because those become very large obstacles for turtles that are coming into nest. And just keep the beach dark and flat at night. So sea turtles get distracted with lights, and it's not good for the hatchlings or the females. So
do they still mark the nesting areas?
We do. Every day we survey out there. We have a team that surveys New Smyrna and Daytona Beach Ponce Inlet daily. So especially now with summer approaching, and whoever's watching, we all love the beach, right? We like going to the beach. So it's really important for people to be aware. Education is the most important thing for anything. Once you know, you can share that knowledge with other people.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. Well, Miss Cherry, I appreciate your time, and I'm glad everything is going good for you. And congrats on the engagement and the new house and all that stuff. And something that we didn't touch on is I know that to me, it's you've gotten an opportunity to do some seminar slash webinar things. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that? Because I think that would be an honor,
Sure.
to get asked to come back to my school. So if anyone at Campbell University happens to watch this, hey, I'm available. But but if you want to talk about that, I think that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So we're in these uncertain times, and it's kind of right annoying that we're displaced and we're stuck at home. I like to say we're safe at home, by the way. So
There
don't
you
think it's
go.
like that,
Yeah.
safe at home. But it's been an honor because I've been able to uh, reconnect with my alma mater. So I graduated from Stetson University, and they have come back to me being a young alumni, and I've been able to do some webinars for them and be able to connect with students that are there, maybe since graduated students or seniors that are graduating. So last week I was able to do a webinar talking about how to land a job outside of your major. So
Wow.
I was a double major in science, and the door to teaching opened, and I am now a teacher in Volusia County Schools. So I was able to talk to the students and share my story. I actually shared it from the perspective of a sea turtle, the life cycle of a sea turtle. So I combined it in with how sea turtles come on shore and they nest, and then they have to incubate. So you have to be patient, and then talking about significance and being resilient and networking and having mentors and all of that. So it's been an honor being able to share those, and they want me to continue even after we are done with this pandemic and quarantine. So that's been really cool. And then also, I'm a mentor with Take Stock in Children. So it's sponsored through Futures. It's a wonderful program. So if you are looking to mentor students, I highly encourage you to get involved with that. We are always looking for new mentors. That has been amazing too. So I mentor students at University High School, and during quarantine, I've been able to do some live mentor sessions with other students from Volusia County. So it's been nice being able to meet other students and be able to share my passion about conservation of our beaches. And I talked about sea turtles and microplastics. So it's been really cool being able to see other students from our district that I would never have probably communicated with if
Right.
it
Right.
wasn't for these uncertain times.
Right. Well, yeah, like I said, I had forgotten that we talked about that before we were recording, but I just think that's so cool that these folks think enough about you that that they said, "Hey, will you come do this?" So, well, like I was saying before, thank you very much for your time, and I hope that before too long we'll see you back around campus and things will be back to normal, whatever that means for us. So. Yeah, I'm going to stop the recording and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. It was so much fun, though, answering your
Good,
questions.
good.
I miss you
Well,
and Jess so much.
yeah, yeah, like you said, we really do have the best students. That's not a biased opinion, that's just the truth.
Hmm.
So, all right, well, thank you.
Thank you.